It's time for local talk here on Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Nextdoor Radio app. And welcome to Local Talk right here on Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Nextdoor Radio app. My name is Trey Snod. This is our weekly discussion with Vance Johnson. He is the candidate for Granville County Sheriff. My friend, welcome back to the studio. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Trey. Hope you are.
You know, we like to say we're living the dream here in downtown, beautiful Oxford. But before, let's kind of dive deep. Every show, we really start off with a quick little infomercial, little introduction to who Mr. Vance Johnson is.
Sure. Vance Johnson, lived in Granville County a very long time. I married 33 years, my wonderful wife, Sharon, and I've got two daughters, grown, with three grandchildren. I've been in law enforcement. It'll be 30 years in March. And I've served in many different capacities throughout that 30 years. I've been a police chief. I'm the assistant chief now in Henderson. Been a police chief a couple of different agencies. I've created a number of different programs, field training officer, and I've been wore a lot of hats. You know, I've been a part of interdiction for the interstate. I've been a part of created a SWAT team, been a part of that. Was the first K-9 officer, one of two in the county many years ago, and later became a K-9 instructor and trained dogs. So yeah, I've done a lot of different things, and you know, I'm looking forward to meeting people at the polls next week. You know, it's exciting. It's kind of rolling to the end, and it's great. You know,
early voting is right around the corner. Before we kind of go into our next topic here, I need some instructions on my ferocious 8.5-pound multi-poo. So you let me know. Just we'll talk about that off air. Okay?
Right, yeah. And the key to that is I'll tell you what to do and you train it, right?
That's right. Yeah. Again, Vance Johnson joins us here. By the way, this is our weekly discussion with Vance Johnson. He is candidate for Granville County Sheriff. One of the biggest thing, we welcome, comments. You can call me, 919-618-9258 on any of the programs that we have by way of our social media, of course, by our email at contact@nextdoorradio.com, or really in person. One of the few things that we're hearing with all candidates, not just you or Robert Fountain or anything else, there not a lot of candidates are talking about the school safety aspect of it. That was me asking me personally on that. So kind of talk a little bit more about that if you can.
Yeah, I think that I have talked about, maybe not specifically here, I've talked about school safety in different forums. It's a huge concern for the citizens. It's a huge concern for me, and certainly should be for the different agencies in Granville County. I think that we need all participants sitting at the table to figure out what works the best. You know, I went to the school safety forum that was held. And a lot of the information that they put out, they withhold some for obvious reasons because they don't want everybody to know all of the little secrets. So I get that. I think that, it's important to me that we work towards having school resource officers in all the schools. I don't think that is from a safety standpoint, but it also, I've always thought and have done things in the past that I want the children of younger ages to see us as people. And, when they see me in Food Line, I don't want them to think of me as Sheriff Johnson. I want them to think of me as Vance or Vance Johnson, and I accomplished that plenty before by, getting involved with coaching and, different community activities and that kind of thing. But to me, it's important, the school resource officers, obviously from a safety standpoint, but that position is much more than that. They're mentors in our school system, and I think it can change the outlook and how we interact with children. And as they grow older, they learn that we're real people. But I think that's probably one of the first goals is to sit down with all the players, because we got to remember there's not one person making that decision.
That's right.
You got the purse strings over here, and you got people that decide the different places that people go and that kind of thing. So it's it's going to take some discussion to make it happen. But I'm certain that it can. There's no doubt that it can. But you certainly can't sit here and commit for other people without having those conversations.
Absolutely.
But that's the number one priority for me, is to make sure our schools are safe, and getting those SROs in the schools.
Yeah, the kids. I have a 5-year-old. They're our future. They're going to be here hopefully, God willing,
right,
longer than we are. So
my children grew up in Granville County schools, except when I was a police chief and we had to move. But the majority of their schooling came from Granville County. I've got 3 grandchildren here that are going to go to school here at some point, coming up fairly quick. So it's a huge concern, and it's something that you can best believe as a law enforcement officer, it's something you think about all the time, and you think about it every day. You really do, and that's something that's foremost on my mind a lot of the time.
Perfect. And this is the weekly discussion with Vance Johnson. He is candidate for Granville County Sheriff right here on our local talk program, Decision 2022. And I tell most of the people that I come in contact, they ask me how I'm doing. I said, look, I'm living the dream. I love what I do. I love working here in Granville County. I love working with the radio station, whatever it is. And it was brought up a point earlier. Why do you love what you do? Why do you love being a police officer? Why do you love giving back to the community? Talk a little bit more about that.
I think that,
and the reason why I ask that, because a lot of people say, hey, this is extreme. Yes, it is. It's an extremely important job, but you can still love what you do.
And it's not for everybody. It's really not. It's not for everybody. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And early in my career, I can remember, I was a K-9 officer very early in my career, after about 2 years in. And my wife said to me one day, she said, it's odd to me. You get called at 2:00 in the morning, you throw your clothes on, you go to work, and you seem happy about it. And most people wouldn't be, And I think it's at that point that I realized that, you certainly don't do it for money, because it's the pay is it's adequate in most cases, but it's not much more than that. You do those things because of the I don't know, you get, when you can help people and you've helped people, it really means a lot, and I think that's what why I enjoy what I do. On a daily basis, I know that we're making a difference, and I can't ever remember a day where I said, I really just don't want to work. It's kind of like you. You don't think of this as a job.
Absolutely not. Look.
And I don't either. And I may get a call, and probably will, at 2:00 this morning with something going on, or a crazy question or whatever. Never bothers me. Never has. It's just I like it. I enjoy it.
So extend a little bit more on that, if you can, Ms. Johnson, regarding, give us some stories, some history about why. Is there some? Of course, we can listen to the bad stuff that police officers have to go through in stories. I want to hear the good. Give some good stories.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of good. And those, what's funny, Trey, is those are the things that stand out to you.
Mm-hmm. You remember.
Yes, we deal with so many bad things, and we see so many bad things. It's really those good things that stand out, and you'll remember. And you're going to remember that for really a lifetime. I remember in a snowstorm seeing a lady walking to work at McDonald's, had her shirt on. She was 3 miles away. I said, hey, you need a ride? And giving her a ride to work. And every time that I went to that McDonald's for the next 5 years, that woman remembered me.
Oh, good.
And it could be 3 months in between, and she remembered me. And that's the kind of thing that I think you carry with you. I made a difference for that lady, and it wasn't much. It was just a ride across town. But I made a difference for that lady. We have fun too. We have a lot of fun in what we do. And, I think back, when I was first got out of K-9 training, and my very first search of a house, I was going in and I was all confident. We had done all this training, and we were great. And the dog was great. And it's always the handler's fault is what we say in our training. It's not the dog's fault.
That's
And we went in the house was secure. We went in to search the house, and immediately the dog finds half a medium pizza on the table, which is not something we had been exposed to in training, and starts to eat the pizza. So I yell at him, no, stop. He runs back to the car. We leave the door open. He gets back in the car. And I'm like, oh, man, no, what are we doing? So I go back, get him, calm him down. We found a lot of drugs in the house that night. But, it was just funny, and it's those kind of stories that are, we just laugh about it. That's all you can do is just laugh about it, and there's plenty of those.
Yeah. Yeah, Vance Johnson joins here by way of our in-studio recorded presentation at this time, of course, part of our weekly discussion and our decision 2022. So, again, early voting kicks off here on October 20th, so right around the corner. We're just a couple of days away, should you say.
Yep.
We want to make sure no matter who you're voting for, get out and vote, because that one vote can make a difference. So remember that. But also, it's coming up October 20th. But a lot of things right now that you read, again, you might have a candidate that you're pushing, that you're talking about on social media, but sometimes it could take it too far. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think I'm done with that kind of thing. And, I do put a lot of information out on social media because it's a quick way to get the information out. But quite frankly, I don't go back and look at the comments in all the places that they're posted. I think that somebody asked me a question, and I generally don't know about it until somebody sends me a text or something. Hey, have you seen this? No, I haven't seen it. And somebody sent me a question just the other day, and I think that it's so frustrating. It's all of the candidates, and my thing is stop attacking the candidates. All of us. There's really not a reason to do any of it. It's very frustrating. I know it is for the others. I think we've got three good men in this race, and attacking people's character. Making up Facebook pages to go after and tell lies, and it's just out of control. It's very frustrating to see from all sides of it. And I know that it's frustrating for the other candidates as well. And look, just stop. If you want to support your person, support them. That's great. Go on, like their stuff, share their stuff. But there's no reason to go after people. And it's just, we're beyond that.
Yeah. I've never had an ounce of me of wanting to create a fake social media account and attack somebody for it. What's the reason? What's the reasoning for that?
I don't know. And look, people do get caught up in this.
Yeah.
There's heavy emotions in this. There's people that are very, very passionate, and that's great. We should have that kind of passion. I think it can get carried away, and I think sometimes it's easier to speak before you think on a social media platform because you're not face to face. And it's extremely frustrating, and honestly, I know it happens to all of the candidates, and I just not just in the sheriff's race, and I just I don't think it's necessary, to just stop, and believe me, I've had people from my side that I've called and said, hey, let's not do that, I just think that we've got to wrangle that back in. It's not what this is about, it's about, to me, it's about electing the most experienced, the most well-trained sheriff, period. I just so happen to believe that I've got the right experience and I'm the right choice, and I've laid those things out and told you my experience and told you about my training, and and so I do think that I'm the best choice, but it's certainly the other two believe that too. I just think it gets out of control sometimes, and it really doesn't need to.
Again, Vance Johnson joins us here. He's candidate for Granville County Sheriff. Joins us here on our weekly discussion, but also our decision 2022. So like mentioned the last couple, we welcome any kind of comments by way of my cell phone, 919-618-9258, or my email at contact@nextdoorradio.com, or by way of our website at nextdoorradio.com. And one came in here and I'm going to read it quote for quote if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
In your current position with the city of Henderson, what would the community say about Vance Johnson from a community policy standpoint? What would they say about Vance Johnson has directly done to improve safety and reduce crime within the city of Henderson?
That's a pretty long question.
Yeah.
You said policy. Is that community policy?
That's from what this is, from a community policy. Policing.
Policing.
Policing. Excuse me. Yes, policing.
Okay.
My
I'm
apologies.
just trying.
My apologies.
That's okay.
Yes.
I have always, first off, community policing is not a concept. It's not something that you can say, I want to do these things. Community policing starts by policing in the community. So if you're the police in the community and then start involving people in the community, that's what it is. It's not a concept. It's in everything that you do. So implementing programs is not necessarily community policing. I've been a part of many of those. When I was in Wendell, I went out and got grant money, non-matching grant money, started a children's camp, and I did that for the exact reasons that I talked about earlier. I wanted those children to see us as people. We did that. We had 30 participants, and that camp still continues today. So it's been going on for maybe 12 years now. So it's things like that. In Henderson, we're heavily involved with Fish with a Cop. We've done that. Walk the beat. All of those things, it's not one person's idea. It's not one person that runs it. We are all part of that team, and we're all involved. Yes, I was out fishing with the children. I happen to like fishing too, so that, yeah.
It helps.
St. Baldrick's Day to raise money for cancer with children. We've been involved in those types of things. We're heavily involved with Gang Free, Melissa Elliott, and we were heavily involved with that. So from a community policing standpoint, what would people say? Look, I'm involved with the community. I'm involved with the community here. I'm a member of the American Legion, very involved in my church. So it's community policing is not a concept. So you can't sit here and say it. You got to be the police, and then you do those things. So been a part of many of those things. Now, as far as, I think it was the second part there, maybe.
What would they say that Vance Johnson has directly done to improve safety and reduce crime within the city of Henderson?
We do hotspot mapping. We do, and hotspot mapping means that we look at serious crimes and how they move about in the city using data. We deploy our resources that way. We look at repeat offenders. We're very particular about people that keep repeating, because that's a huge part of what crime is. It's the same people. It's a very small portion of people that continue to do the crimes. So we focus on that type of thing. We've got, we have done, as far as the criminal side of it, we have prosecuted serious offenders, those serious repeat offenders, in our federal court system with sentences, sometimes as high as 25 years. And, those folks are the people we need to be focusing on. So, I think that's something that can get very confusing to people from the outside looking in, is that when you look at a crime, you should never look at a crime rate and compare it, okay? And the reason you can't do that, the FBI tells you not to do it. Go to their site, they give you the data, and they tell you, don't do this, right? And the reason you don't do that is because what that doesn't take into effect is unemployment, underemployment, school systems, rental houses versus ownership, and the poverty level. It doesn't take into account so many factors that policing doesn't address. And I give you that, I tell you those things because, look, when I was in Wendell, the time I was there, crime went down 30%. But I'm not up here taking credit for it because it's not entirely the police. There's a lot of other factors in that makes a difference. So you got to be very cautious when you look at those things. And, I think from the outside, it's very easy to say that. But it's certainly a lot more to that. And I would encourage people to think about that. But we work hard every day. I'm proud of what I do. I'm proud of the officers that I work with. They've got a lot of work on them, and it's a constant thing. But they love what they do just like I do. I'm proud of them. I think they do an outstanding job. We're an accredited agency, and so, which means we do best police practicing across the board and have for 2 decades. I'm proud of what I've done.
Again, Vance Johnson joins us here in the studio by way of our video, of course, all of our social media platforms, and our local talk decision 2022. And apologize for messing that first part of that question up. Good job picking that up. So I appreciate that. Again, my name is Trace Knott, and we like to finish these kind of segments on really the last 2 minutes of opening the floor, nothing on the table, anything that we haven't discussed today that's on your mind.
Had a fantastic endorsement, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robertson, earlier this week. I was very proud of that. Just kind of wanted to get that out there. And his video is available on my Facebook and website and all of that. But a lot of good things going on. Take it easy on all the candidates. We're getting right here at the end. Stop beating everybody up. It just doesn't make much sense. If you got valid questions, ask them. I'll come to your house and talk to you. All you got to do is reach out. I'll talk to any group, whatever. But as we are getting closer, get out and vote. We're going to start voting next Thursday. All of this year has just been so crazy for all of the candidates, and we're getting ready to do what America's all about. We're going to hand it over to the citizens for them to decide who is the best person to be sheriff. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And I think that it's a great thing that's getting ready to happen. And whatever happens, it's in the hands of the people, and that's fantastic. It's the way it should be.
Early voting begins once again on October 20th, which is, like you mentioned, next Thursday. Hard to believe we have made it. Now is the time to get out there, find out who is the right choice for a Granville County Sheriff, no matter who it is. Get out there and vote October 20th, early voting, of course. The official is in person November 8th. Exciting things happening here locally in Granville County. My friend, appreciate you. Always a pleasure having you a part of our Decision 2022 and our weekly discussion.
Enjoy it, Trey. Enjoy it.
Always a pleasure. God bless you. Again, my name is Trace Knott. He is Vance Johnson. He is candidate for Granville County Sheriff. Until next time, God bless. We'll see you later.